Meanwhile, the Ministry of External Affairs of India is holding a press briefing. Let's cut across live now.
Pakistan Army also suffered major losses in Indian retaliatory fire. Additionally, Pakistan's irresponsible behavior again came to fore. Pakistan did not close its civil airspace despite it launching a failed unprovoked drone and missile attack on 7th May at 8:30 hours in the evening. Pakistan is using civil airliners as a shield, knowing fully well that its attack on India would elicit a swift air defense response. This is not safe for the unsuspecting civil airliners, including the international flights which were flying near IB between India and Pakistan. The screenshot we just showed and we shall share with you, it shows the data of the application Flight Radar 24 during a high air defense alert situation in the Punjab sector. As you have seen, the airspace on the Indian side is absolutely devoid of civil air traffic due to our declared closure. However, there are civil airlines flying the air route between Karachi and Lahore. Amongst the other civil aircraft that you can see, we have highlighted an aircraft which is Airbus 320 of Flynas Aviation, which was originated from Dammam at 1750 hours and landed later at Lahore at 2110 hours in the night. Indian Air Force demonstrated considerable restraint in its response, thus ensuring safety of international civil carriers.
Thank you, Colonel Qureshi, Wing Commander Singh. I have just a few points to share in addition. कल रात की पाकिस्तानी सेना की कायरतापूर्ण गतिविधियों से आपको कर्नल कुरैशी और विंग कमांडर सिंह ने पहले ही अवगत करा दिया गया है. These provocative and escalatory actions that were taken by Pakistan last night were targeted at Indian cities and civilian infrastructure, in addition to some military targets. The Indian armed forces responded proportionately, adequately and responsibly. ये जो हमले हुए कल रात को भारतीय सैन्य इकाइयों ने पर्याप्त रूप से और एक जिम्मेदाराना रुख अपनाते हुए इन हरकतों का उत्तर दिया. What I want to underline is that the official and blatantly farcical denial of these attacks that Pakistan carried out by the Pakistani state machinery is yet another example of their duplicity and the new depths that they are plumbing in their quest for disinformation. The other point in the same vein is Pakistani claims that they did not target or attack any religious places. You would recall that yesterday I shared with you an incident related to the attack on a Gurdwara in Punch. Instead of owning up to these attacks, Pakistan made the preposterous and outrageous claim that it was the Indian Armed Forces and the Indian Air Force that was targeting cities like Amritsar and trying to put the blame on Pakistan. This is nothing but a desperate attempt by Pakistan to disown its acts of aggression, but it is also true to type in its effort to deceive and mislead the world. It will not succeed. The Gurdwara in Punch in particular was attacked by Pakistan, and some local members of the Sikh community, including a Ragi of the Gurdwara, lost their lives in this incident, as I shared yesterday. TV पर आप इस हमले के चित्र देख सकते हैं. In addition, that we would attack our own cities is the kind of deranged fantasy that only the Pakistani state can come up with. Perhaps they do it because they are well versed in such action, as their history would show. The The last point I wanted to make this evening is again this disinformation that is coming from Pakistan about India targeting the Nankana Sahib Gurdwara through a drone attack. This is again yet another blatant lie and part of Pakistan's disinformation campaign. As we saw in the Pahalgam attack, Pakistan is again trying desperately to impart a communal hue to the situation with an intention to create discord. Again, we are not surprised. India's steadfast unity in itself is a challenge to Pakistan. Let me stop there. I have time only for a few questions and be happy to try and answer them.
First, I call Siddharth. Siddharth, please. Hi, sir. I'm Siddharth from Beyond. So this way. Siddharth, behind, please.
The other Siddhant.
Yes. Hi, sir. I'm Siddharth from CNN News 18. Sir, I only want to know from you the status of Kartarpur corridor. Is it open or not? You can.
I think you're all aware of the situation along the entire India-Pakistan border and the areas around the line of control. In view of the existing security scenario, the services of the Kartarpur Sahib corridor have been suspended till further directions. We'll update you as and when there is a change in the situation.
You have a question here, Rishabh?
So, good evening, Rishabh from Times Now. So, you spoke about religious places being hit in Jammu. There's another religious place which is Carmelite Nun church that has been hit. What do you have to say about it? If you can explain that.
Yeah, actually, we do have some information about this extremely regrettable and condemnable incident during heavy shelling across the line of control in the.
Well, joining us to discuss this statement from the Ministry of External Affairs amid the ongoing tensions is Wing Commander S. Sudhakaran, a former IAF officer. Let's look at some of these statements that have been made. The first one I want to look at, the Pakistan Army facing heavy losses. Of course, the operation that was carried out last night, we have received more information on. What's your reaction to these comments that we've just heard, specifically looking at those heavy losses from the Pakistani side?
See, that was bound to happen because it was an inferior army. They were underprepared. Probably they didn't have a plan. It was only desperation, and desperation has driven them to a point of irrationality that you can see the kind of speeches that they make in their parliament, the kind of speeches or the statements that they make in media. They make a clown out of themselves. Now, such kind of people in battlefield have no place. See, battlefield is a very unforgiving place. Unless and until you are not prepared, you don't know what you want, it is going to decimate you. That's where lives are taken. It is not like a normal sports ground wherein you just go, you didn't win, you can still, get a consolation prize or still get some accolades. No, here even the best performances, if it doesn't cross the line, the chances are that you lose your life. So Pakistan was bound to be facing the kind of defeat that they faced because they deserved it, they demanded it, they begged for it. And we have just obliged in kind.
Yes, we have, of course, some more updates from what has been said. I just want to pose these to you and then get your reaction, if possible, Wing Commander. We've heard that kinetic and non-kinetic means have been used to down several drones, but shells have been fired from Pakistan, landing behind the Christ School in Poonch on the 7th of May. We've heard that 2 children were killed due to this shelling, and that Pakistan has been shelling places of worship and that they have been targeted. Wing Commander, what is your response to this sort of attack?
So as the government of India has already clearly mentioned that they will go for a proportional response for every step that Pakistan takes. But then so far, while I am fully with the government that it has been a textbook response, we've handled the situation amazingly well. In fact, beyond what I could even expect as a citizen. More than that, the kind of neutralization of the air threats that was done by our AD system, because I myself am trained in an AD system. I'm trained in a couple of radars and as well as a couple of these missile systems, including the Akash class of systems. And I understand air defense as much as anybody does. So, having seen the capability of Indians, it was like pride and joy and its sense of elation, because 10 years before, India didn't have this level of capabilities, and these capabilities were built in the last 6-7 years. Even in Balakot, if you remember 2019, on the day after the Balakot strikes, when the Pakistanis reverted back on us, we had a couple of fratricide on our side, which was very, very unfortunate. But this time, it was absolutely a professional job. It was a job done in absolute precision. They hit their targets just like on bullseye, and then they denied the enemy the ability to strike back. So there is nothing that we could have asked back. But having said this is where the game begins. We need to build this strategic clarity in an age of ambiguity. In conflict, just as in the ring, you cannot have a defensive posture helping you to win a championship. The real stability requires resolve, it requires foresight, and it requires decisive action. Yet time and again, whenever a state sponsor of terror faces pressure, the global community opts for de-escalation, allowing the cycle of extremism to regenerate. This is a pattern we have seen playing out for decades, where tactical victories followed by diplomatic resets. Now, this is what has put India back. Right from 1947 to 1965 to 1971, whenever we had gained territory, whenever we had an upper hand, we were just told to get back. And that has perennially left us in a state, we are fighting a headless hydra, which keeps coming at us time and again, and then technically the hands of the army was tied by the political formation of the day. But this time we have a leader who is one of the best we had in say ages, and he probably has a vision, he probably has the courage, and he probably has the standing. And all these three things mixed together, I think this is the perfect opportunity for us to implement our cold start doctrine. Capture that land before you go into the table to discuss with these, so-called army which has got a country, right? That is when we will be able to solve the problem. Where is this problem?
Yes.
The problem.
Yes, Wing Commander. Apologies to interrupt. I do want to